I'm having to wear sunglasses today because, well, it's the morning after the night before. My eyes are a bit puffy. I read the comments section and I can't go anymore. Hello viewers, welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are wondering what the intro was all about, well, I was on the Shifting Metal Mentors podcast with Joe, thanks Train. Couldn't make it up, could you this? With Joe from Ampera Motors and Dave Gott from the Lovely Car Company. Really nice guys. Had a great chat with them. At least I thought I did. And then reading the comments section after the podcast, literally got roasted by people saying I was far too negative and I deserved to fail, basically. And for those of you that know me and have been with the channel for quite some time, and for those of you that have come here from that podcast, hello, welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. But for those of you that have been here for a while, you know that's not me. I am quite a glass half full guy, but that didn't come across in their podcast very well. But anyway, yeah, I had a lovely chat with them. And I thought I better just come online today and say, hello, I'm still alive. To be fair, a lot of the people that roasted me, and I've got to be honest about this, when I sort of look back on what they were saying, I mean, initially it was like, you know, a knife to the stomach. But when you look at what they're saying, they mean well. And it's a case of, look, you know, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, and stop being negative about this. And in a roundabout way, you know, there were some lovely comments on there, and put it all into perspective. I've come out of it. I've put a package together for Auto Trader now. That's all signed up and done. So all the cars all advertised on there, which will hopefully get business moving again. And I even had two guys from out of the blue phone me this morning after watching a podcast saying, like, you know, really enjoyed you speaking and what, which was so nice. You know, at first you think this has got to be a scam. People phoning me out of the blue after a podcast have got to be like, you know, Nigerian princes, but they were really nice guys, really genuine people, and just wishing me the best, which I thought was so nice, especially after some of the things I had to read the night before. Anyway, we're here. I just thought I'd do a little update video for you because it's been a while since we've spoken. I'll go back to you remember the three cars that I bought back in, well, a couple of months ago now, the EcoSport, the Focus and the Mini. We did the three videos. Are these worth 6k? Well, the EcoSport and the Focus sold to the same family. The son bought the EcoSport, literally took it off the next day to go to Newcastle for university. I was kind of like, fingers crossed, everything's all right, because you never quite know with a car like that. We'd fixed the engine management light. That was a £20 sensor or something that we fixed, serviced it, oil change. But yeah, like I said, you do kind of worry, but he's been absolutely fine with it, loves the car, and it's been really reliable. The EcoSport went to the mum, explained to her about the mileage and what had happened with it, and she basically said, look, you know, we tend to run our cars into the ground anyway, so we're never going to have a problem reselling it when it comes down to it, so it's fine for us. And you know, really nice car, and I like it. They both sold for £8,000. So by the time we took the VAT out and the costs and everything, we kind of covered the cost of the Mini. Now the Mini needed a little bit more work. You remember there was a load of sealant and gunk around the cam cover. So took the cam cover off. Got a new one of those because more often than not they break. They're so brittle, the plastic. So we got a new one of those. Put that on. Cleaned all the instant gasket off. Cleaned all that. It turned out the radiator had a leak. So whether that was all kind of intertwined as to why it was like that, I don't know. But anyway, we changed the radiator, coolant changed everything, and yeah, it came back and it was actually drove really nice. When those Minis are right, they are so good. But it's just the fact that, you know, you're constantly like, you know, clenching your cheeks just in case something goes wrong with them. But that one, it seemed to sort the car out lovely. Took it for a 10-mile test drive, and I'm thinking, you know, this is a really nice car now. And fair play, I gave it really good machine polish because it was black and they always need a machine polish. And the young lady came in a couple of weeks ago, basically paid virtually full price for it, fell in love with the car. And to be fair, I think it's going to be a great car for her. She loves it, and I'm sure the car will love her. And that went for, I think, $32.95. I think we sold that for in the end. So, you know, with all three cars there, we did okay out of them, and not really any issues. And like I said, I think in the end, they were all pretty good cars. I know there were some people that didn't quite think they were, but, you know, we did all right out of them, and they're good cars. And, you know, I haven't heard from anybody ever since, so they must be okay. On to a few stories about where we are at the moment. So last week, I decided to move a couple of pieces of stock on that I'd bought. I'd bought a Skoda Fabia and a Fiat 500 for not a lot of money. I think the Fabia was 1,900 quid. The Fiat 500 was 1,500 quid. So, you know, not expensive cars. Took the Fiat in to get checked over to make sure it's okay. And there was nothing seriously wrong with it, but there was like a mountain of little things that are wrong with it. And if I needed to get the car right, it was going to cost, basically it's going to wipe out the profit. So that had been like sitting here, I was thinking, should I use it as a courtesy car? Should I just, you know, maybe, I don't know, sell it as a part exchange, yeah, part ex to clear or something like that. And in the end, I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to bin it off to auction and, you know, get rid of it. And once a month, there's a sale over at Anglia Car Auctions. They're over in Kingsley, right on the outer edge of England, basically. And yeah, once a month they have a sale there that the car supermarkets over there use. Now, I really like going to that because the cars from over there, they're not your run-of-the-mill cars in the way that they are at, you know, in a central England location. The people in Norfolk are a special breed, and they do look after their cars over there, and they always tend to be like really, really good buys. So I like going to that sale and try and pick up some decent stock. And I used the Fiat to get over there. I thought if I buy some stock over there, I can leave the Fiat there to go into the sale the following week, and then drive back whatever I bought. The first one I bought was an Audi A3. In fact, my arm's recovered now. I've been carrying the camera around for ages, trying to make this work, and I've got a bit of a tennis elbow thing going on, so it wasn't really doing my elbow any good. Anyway, hopefully the exposure will pick this up. But I've got this gorgeous little Audi A3 here. It's a 1.8 TFSI automatic DSG box in there, and it's an S-line, so really nice trim. I haven't even cleaned this. This is how it came. It's pretty much like immaculate. The cap or the guide price, or I mean, there's so many different guides and stuff now to give you an idea of the price. But anyway, it was sort of around £9,000 trade, and they started the bidding off at 6. Now, that always tends to worry me a little bit when they start the bidding off that low, because you think, well, why? Because the car, I say, is pretty much like, you know, bob on. There's not really much wrong with it, or at least I didn't think there was. But when I drove it home, sorry, let's go back to the bidding, sorry. Yes, it started at 6, got to 7.9. He pushed me for the extra bid to go to 8, which I gave him, and I bought it for 8. So I was a little bit like, oh, why is that so cheap? Because it's actually, I mean, the blue, I don't know if it'll come across in the video, but it is a really, really nice blue, nice metallic. Yeah, really nice car. Wheels are lovely. But when I drove it home, one of the rear brakes was seized on it, which needed a new caliper, as you can see there. So I ended up putting new discs and pads on the front and the rear in the end, because the MOT said the front brake was fluctuating. So I just thought, you know what, let's just do the whole lot. If I think I've got this car right, I've got that much money to spend on it to get it right. So I put new discs and pads on it all round, gave it a service. So that was about 800-900 quid. So it stands me in about 9 grand, give or take, with the fees and everything. And I think retail price is about, I mean, I've got it up for 11,295, but I think you can just see down here, there's some repair marks on the bumper. I don't know if they'll pick up on the camera. I'll move it from side to side, maybe you'll see it. And a few down there as well. So it's not the greatest repair. I don't know if that's the filler starting to split. It's not particularly brilliant in that corner, but with the exception of that, the car's really, really nice. So, you know, there should be 2 grand profit in that. The auto trader rating is not brilliant on it. I think it's about 39 or 40, something like that. So, but, you know, look, it's an Audi. It's a lovely car. It's an A3. 3-door might hurt it, but because it's the 1.8 and because it's like it moves like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, nice car. I'm happy with that. So that's that one. And I also bought, it's not here at the moment, but I bought a CRV, a Honda CRV, got 116,000 miles on it. Sorry, let's get into the light. Come on, camera. Hello. Right. CRV with 116,000 miles on it, but one owner from you, every service invoice maintained impeccably, like on the dot each month. And no bodywork damage on it at all. The interior is mint. Paid 4.4 for that, and I think it retails at about 6, I think it is. But with the condition of it and the service history, I think people will pay a premium for that over just a run-of-the-mill car at that price. So I've got it up a little bit higher at about 6.5, which I think is fair for the car. Hopefully that'll move, because that is a really, really nice car. I'm pleased with that. On the way to pick that up, I had a little Fabia here. I don't know if I've already said that. That I got from Central. It was a nice car, but it was very dull. And I mean very dull. I got it because it seemed to be cheap, at 1,900 quid. Immaculate inside. There's a tiny little bit of rust on the exterior of it, on the wheel arch. But then when you open the bonnet on the underside was virtually rotten. It was horrible. So much rust on it. and the cross members at the front, so not the slam panel where the bonnet goes down, but the two bits by the side of it, they look like they've been hammerized. They were that rusty. So I had it here, and I was umming and ahhing about whether to get a new bonnet for it, sell it as it was, or whatever. And in the end, like I said, I binned that over to Anglia Car Auctions and picked the CRV up and brought that back. So those two are over at Anglia Car Auctions. I paid 1,500 quid for the Fiat, 1,900 for the Fabia. I've said that already, haven't I? And I sold at Anglia yesterday for 1,450 for the Fiat and 2,100 for the Fabia. So I'd made 200 quid. 200 quid on the Fabia, lost 50 on the Fiat. So I made 150 quid, but then I've got fees from both sides, from buying them originally and then selling them. So I'm going to be out of pocket a little bit, but they're gone now, and I've got two nicer cars in their place. Granted, they're a lot more expensive cars, but they're gone. And I think that's kind of cleared those out, because coming in, and especially with the Fabia, I was looking at the Fabia and saying, oh, you know, every time I walked in the morning, it's really important for me that I look at my cars and I feel confident in the ones that I've got, that I can sell them. And I wasn't sure with the Fabia, it had to go to a specific customer that wanted that car, because you wouldn't walk in and see it and go, oh, that's really nice, because it wasn't really nice. It was just a clean, reliable, very boring car. So yeah, in the end, that's gone now. Anyway, somebody else has got that, and they'll have a lovely car out of it, because, you know, it was the better of the two. Between that and the Fiat, it was the best car. But anyway, they've gone now. Got two to replace it. While I was doing that, the morning before I went over there, because it's a fairly long drive over to Kings Lynn, I put two cheeky proxy beads on a couple of cars at Central, but at Lingfield, because I've got a new sale down there. Yeah, they had some cars down there that I thought I might pick up fairly cheap, because they want to promote the sale at Lingfield. There wasn't many people buying cars down there, from what I can gather. So I might just want to move some stock on. So I put two cheeky proxy bids in on. One on this, a Vauxhall Ampera. So like a semi-electric battery with a 1.4 litre engine. So the petrol engine generates the power for the motors when it runs out of battery. And it's got currently, should have about 50-mile range new. It's got about 37 in at the moment. So, great for a little commute and everything, but also good for a longer journey. And driving this back from Lingfield, I was thoroughly impressed with it. Bearing in mind this is 11 years old now, the quality of the drive that I got out of this, this is far ahead of its time, and I'm surprised it didn't do better than it did, because this is possibly the best Vauxhall I've driven in terms of refinement, in terms of how the interior works, how comfortable it is. I was so impressed with this car. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it, really. Like I say, it's pretty mint. I'm surprised I got it for the price I did. I paid 3,200 quid for it, plus fees. So probably will come out about 35, something like that. It's had to be polished. The paintwork, because a lot of these panels are plastic, because they're obviously eco-friendly and stuff, they do tend to scratch fairly easy. But you can see once it's had a nice polish, it does come up pretty nice, almost like a chrome effect finish. But yeah, lovely car. Cleaned it, like I said, it was serviced in March, so 6 months ago, and 2 years ago it was sold by a main dealer anyway. There are some things that I'm not sure need doing. I did get an email straight away when I put it on Auto Trader to say, oh, has this been done? Has the battery coolant thing been done? Which, to be honest, I didn't even know was a thing. And when I looked it up, it needs to be done every 5 years. So I've got to chase up the main dealer to see if they did it, because it's not a small job to get done, but it's not too pricey. I think 350 quid was about the main dealer pricing of it. But again, it's just another job to be done. I'd rather just sell the car and move on. So yeah, that's really nice. I mean, you probably can't see it with the light. I'll try and see if this camera will pick it up. But the interior of it is really nice. Like, you've got these like plastic panels here, but with like lovely graphics on them, which is a really nice touch. Full leather interior. It's got this contrasting black and red interior. It is only a 4-seater. The middle console has got an armrest there, so it is only 4 seats, but like I said, it drove lovely. If I was in the market for a car like this, as opposed to a Leaf of the same age, or maybe even a newer Leaf, I would take this every single time. It is lovely. I don't know how many times I can say. I'm not trying to sell it to you. I'm just trying to say to the car, well done, Vauxhall, and a shame it didn't take off because I was really impressed with it. You may remember this one. This is, the other car I got, by the way, from Lingfield. It hasn't turned up yet, which I'm having to be transported because I thought I'd better do this video rather than do a bit of driving today. So that's going to get transported. It's only a little C3. It was cheap, 1,400 quid. Hopefully I'll have a little bit better luck with that than I did with the other cheapies, so we'll see. You remember this one, the 207. Still here. You remember I had a query about what to do with it and the pricing structure of it. It's currently up at 2770. You remember I paid 1,100 quid plus fees for it. I've had to spend a little bit of money getting the front end done. Both shock absorbers needed changing and something else as well on it. I can't remember what else it was, but did a service on it. So we're into about £500 in prep costs plus the fees and everything else. So 2770 leaves me with somewhat of a margin in it. Haven't had any of the bodywork done at the back. You may remember the paintwork on the back, just with the lacquer starting to peel. You know, I don't think that's going to be a problem with a car of that age, to be perfectly honest with you. So that's that. A little Megane we've got in. I say little Megane. It's a Renault Sport, a 265 brake. I picked this car up for 5,600 quid. Soon realised why, because it needed a cam belt doing on it. It's done 75,000 miles. And the cam belt on one of these, if you go to a main dealer, is over £2,000. Fortunately, near me, I've got a Renault Sport specialist called Beanie Sports. Took it down there, done the cam belt for me for 750 quid. And while it was down there, so when I got it back, it dropped a load of water. So I was like, shit, it's got a water leak on it. So I took it back down there because it also was tramlined a little bit. It didn't quite feel right at the front. So I took it down there to get it all that sorted again. I spent a few hours trying to sort out the tyre rods, which were all rusted up and other bits and pieces. Sorted the front end out. It drives lovely now. Parked it up and it spewed a load of water out again underneath. So one of the hoses has gone, but they forgot to do it. So I've got to get that done again. The grille on the front here, you can see is broken. You can't hardly get hold of them anymore because they're Renault Sport ones, so they're very rare. I mean, it's no big deal, but it does sort of set the car off a little bit when that's all damaged. But yeah, there's no leather in this, surprisingly. It is all no Alcantara. It's all cloth and stuff. There's nothing quite flashy about it, which is a bit of a shame. It's got the RS headrests and stuff, but yeah. And also with all the work that's been done on it, there's probably not much profit left in it. If I put this up at, say, 8,995, I think it's a fair price for it. Leaves him with a less than £1,000 quid profit. But you know, I've made a nice car for somebody, and there'll be a little margin in it for me. So when that eventually sells, that'd be nice. A little Mini Cooper, one of the first of the new shape ones. So it's got the 1500cc engine in it. I can't remember how much I paid for that. It wasn't a lot. It started with a 3, certainly. The gearbox is a bit notchy, but that's just Mini. This is probably worse than some of them that I've driven. But yeah, it's not great. And what else do we have to do to it? There's something else. New tyre. I need a new valve on one of the tyres. And something else is a little bit niggly, but they've all been done. And yeah, I might have to discount it a little bit just because of the notchy gearbox. But actually, once you get used to driving it, it's literally like driving a dog box Ferrari. It's like that notchy. But like I said, they go in fine. They don't grind at all. It is just a case of one of the worst mini gearboxes that I've come across anyway. But car drives lovely apart from that. In the corner, can I get down there? I picked this little Clio up for, it was about 600, 700 quid, I think. Done 50,000 miles, hardly a mark on it. The interior's like new, full history on it as well. I've got it up at 1795. I've got 1500 in the window, but yeah, it's one of those things that'll stay until it's sold. It's not. I know it's all about, you know, churning cars quickly and getting them moving, but that will sell eventually to somebody that wants a cheap car. It's a nice enough thing, and yeah, that's the up you would have seen on the podcast yesterday. This is the last one that's come in for the last batch. I paid, I think, less than £1,000 for this. You know, and you can't really see in the light, but it is like, you know, this is the sort of quality you get with the Japanese cars. And again, you probably won't see it because of the light, but it's all, you know, under here, you know, there's no rust on it at all. It's all pretty much clean, and you know, that's what you're paying for with these, is the quality of the car. So the camera's struggling with the light, so let's get out of there into the somewhat of a light. I'll walk around here. You were seeing these two as we've been walking around. This is a RAV4. Paid £7 for this because it was what I thought was pretty much mint. I didn't see this corner, which has got a little bit of scrape on it there, and it's just put it out of line here as well, unfortunately. The paint guy that I use has just lost his premises, so I've got to find somebody else to do that now, just to pop that in and repair it for me, because I can rattle can it, but it will just look shit basically, so there's no point doing that. And every time a book drop comes out, it falls. So the longer I wait to get this done, the more money it's losing, and this is one I really need to get my finger out and get it sorted and get it sold, because it's actually really nice inside. It's like a full leather interior. It's got all the bits and pieces on it you need, and obviously what you'd expect from a top quality RAV4, heated seat, heated leather. You know, it's a really nice car. Drives really nice. In fact, I drove this up to North Wales to take my mum to see her brother, my uncle, and drove it back, and it drives absolutely lovely. Has got a little bit of the whine from the rear, which I thought might have been the diff or the transfer box, or the, I think it, what do they call it? It'll come to me. It'll come to me. Viscous coupling. There we go. I knew it was there somewhere. And when I took it down to the workshop, I got it on the ramp, spun the wheels round, and noticed that the tyres are out of shape. So before I can do anything, I need to put 2 rear tyres on it. But the tyres are out of stock everywhere, and I want to try and match them because they've got Bridgestone A005 weather control tyres on them all round. So I don't really want to have to mix the rears and the fronts. If I can get a set of rears for it, it'd be great. But like I said, at the moment, everywhere's kind of out of stock of them. So this thing, my God, this has given me such a headache in basically cleaning it. It was full of sand. It's come from the Isle of Lewis, which is like Northern Hebrides. And when it came in, it was manky. And I don't mind manky cars because they give you like a bit of cathartism when you're cleaning it and you get it up to a standard where it's like really nice. But this one took like, every time you hoovered it and brushed it, more sand came up. It must have had half of the Isle of Lewis on it. But in the end, managed to get it to a stage where it was nice and clean. Stupid little things on it that just real pain in the arse. So that's locked. The 2 seatbelt buckles, focus. The 2 seatbelt buckles are missing the covers, and you can't get the covers separately. You can only get seatbelt buckles. So I had to buy the seatbelt buckles for both seats. Then I had to take the seats out to fix the seatbelt buckles. I think someone had tried to do it before because one of the star bolts didn't quite grip the star key, so it was just starting to churn a little bit. I didn't really want to like burr it off. So yeah, I took it down to the workshop and got them to do one of the seats. I've done the other one. They got the other seat out and changed that. Did the cam belt on it because cam belt needed doing. And I don't know, it's got a 2-litre TDI engine and it says it's 115 brake. But I've got a feeling that the engine in it comes out of the transporter, because this thing from 30 to 50 miles an hour in 3rd gear is like a rocket ship. I mean, I thought it had the 150 brake Golf GT engine in it, but when I looked at the specs, it is just 115 brake. But my God, it's so impressive. Such a nice car. Now it's clean. I have to say, I've kind of not fallen in love with it, but it's got a soft spot for me. The only thing I need to do with it, because I'm guessing it's because it's been around the beaches and stuff, the bonnet is like stone chipped to here to kingdom come. So again, it's one I need to get into a paint shop. Like I said, my paint guy's lost his premises, so it's like, So it's advertised as it is because, like I said, from a distance you wouldn't know. It's only when you come in and see it that you can see the stone chips. Maybe there's a deal to be done, and if there isn't, then I'll have to get it sprayed and done. But yeah, nice car, nice car. This, I love this car. This is a Peugeot RCZ. I picked this up for £1,400, which to me is the bargain of the century. I can't believe that these cars are as cheap as they are. I know it's a Peugeot. But if it had any other badge on the front of it, that thing would be so much more expensive than it is. I've got a real soft spot for these. When I was invited to corporate days back in the day, they had an RCZR up at what's his name? The Jonathan Palmer. Couldn't think of his name then. Jonathan Palmer Racing School, which is just up from us in Bedford. And on a corporate day, there was a load of us that were sent out in these to like go and have some fun. And I think out of about 40 of us, I actually set the fastest lap in the R, which has got 275 brake in it, which is like a really, really quick car. And they handle like some, I mean, if you've driven a TT and you think that was good, these things are absolutely glued to the road. It's just a shame. Like I said, it's got a Peugeot badge on it, because anything else would be, I'll say, at least twice the price. This is the diesel version. I know, again, it doesn't get any better, any worse rather. But again, it's the Peugeot diesel, so it's got a pretty much, a good chunk of power in it. It drives like a proper sports car would. The interior in it is, these aren't actually built by Peugeot. They weren't built by Peugeot. Obviously not being made anymore. They were built by coach builders. And some of the detailing in it is really, really nice. I mean, the central clock in it, it just makes you feel like you're in a Jag or something a lot better than this. Yeah, it's such a nice car. Like I say, value for money wise, even at £4,000, I still think it's cheap, but not much interest in it at that. But that's because people don't know. So yeah, I just think that's such a nice car. It's overpriced, but that's because maybe I've got a soft spot for it. Maybe I think it's worth more than it is because of my connection with them. That's a car that you buy, put it in a barn for 20 years, and then tell your kids about it, unlock it, and it'll be worth 5 times that in a number of years. This thing, I took this in as a part exchange. You may remember way back, I had the 116i from Japan, the import. We were struggling to sell it because the tax was quite high on it, because it's a 1.6 rather than 1.5. And a guy brought me in this Clio and said, look, I'll do you a swap on it because you're struggling to sell yours. I want it, and this is doing my back in. I can't drive it anymore. And at the time, I remember thinking, Clio can't be worth that much, surely. But we did the deal anyway, because they are worth that much. Even at 77.50, I've got it up for. It's on Auto Trader as very good value, or not the low price, but the one next to that. It's an automatic diesel. It's only done 45,000 miles or so. But when the guy traded it into me, he said there's no issues with it at all. He bought it a year ago. It's all fine. So far, I've had to have the both drop links done. Both arms, literally the wheels were wobbling like this when you got it on the ramp. I've had to have the wiper motor replaced because the wipers were banging down on the bonnet, which I didn't notice. There was something else wrong with it. It was filthy inside. Needed a really good clean. This car just needs to get it sold and get it gone because it annoys me. So once that's gone and cleared, between that and the BMW, I won't have made any money on the two of them, I don't think, by the time I sell that one. But it cleared the BMW, and I've got this headache. But once that's gone, then away we go. And you may remember this one. This is that Yaris that I've had for so long. This came in the first batch of Japanese cars, and the front bumper on it was completely horrible. So this went down to the paint guy before he lost his premises, and he had this for about 6 weeks. There was lacquer peel starting on different, like on the door handles, on the roof, on the A-pillars. There's little bits and pieces everywhere, the bonnet. And I did say to him, can you do the A-pillars and the bonnet and the bumper? But it turns out he couldn't match the paint, and it would look shit, basically. So in the end, he resprayed the whole car, which kind of took the profit out of the car. But now I can't begin to tell you how good this paint job is. It's literally like a gel coat. And I said to him, I've worked in the motor industry like for 25 years and worked with various repairers. I haven't seen a full respray job this good. And he's not got like a massive premises or anything like this. He's literally in a shed, really. But there's no dirt in any of the paint. It's come through absolutely beautifully. I'm so impressed with the job he done. I'm so gutted that he hasn't got a premises at the moment, because I was like, I need you to do this kind of work for me. But anyway, that's gone. Well, the car hasn't gone, the workshop's gone. But that's here, ready to go. It just needs the right person to come in and see the car, and it will go, because it is absolutely immaculate inside, with the exception of the stereo, which I've still got to fit. That's why the dashboard's hanging out. But yeah, it just needs to put these weird security keys down here, which I don't have the key for. So I'm waiting for my audio man to come and undo those, and then pop the new stereo in, and then that's all good to go. Really nice trim and everything on it. Lovely car, that. Makes somebody very happy. Yeah, sorry, camera died. Literally just I got to the end of going around the stock. So, and then all hell broke loose. Phone didn't stop ringing. I don't know if I showed you the Ampera, but that's gone. That's been sold. And also the little Clio that was in the corner, little cheapie. Someone came in at the weekend to have a look at that. It's now Sunday. Came in yesterday, decided that they really liked it. Another first car. I get quite a few first-time drivers, so it's nice. So that's got a reservation on it, going down for an MOT next week, and that'll be gone. But yeah, I mean, going back to what the podcast was saying, although to be fair, the Clio went on Car Gurus as opposed to Auto Trader, but the traffic is a lot more. I wouldn't say it was. I know Joe talked down Car Gurus, and certainly it is a case of you get what you pay for. But having said that, I don't. Given that Auto Trader is 5 times more expensive, I wouldn't say I've had 5 times as many inquiries about cars over the last few days. 3 times possibly, and this is where the value of money comes in and what's worthwhile. But definitely, we did need to put Auto Trader back in the game, because, well, we just need to sell more cars, and at the end of the day we need to see as many people as possible, and that will always be Auto Trader, I guess, until things change. So yeah, that's where we are. So so we'll put that together. I will put the Japanese auction video together, because I have got a load of footage from the Up that we went down to collect in Southampton, and obviously now it's back here, we can see exactly what the car is and go around it, and there's another couple on the way, so I can go through the process with the paperwork. So that'll probably be the next one, but that's a bit more in depth. So, but I've been working on it for some time, so when that comes out, hopefully. And again, I've got to be careful, because that's the video that's going to drive a lot of traffic to the web, to the channel. So I want it to be as bob on as possible. So anyway, that's me waffling. Surprise, surprise. I'll stop talking. Yeah. So again, thanks for watching. Thank you to everyone that subscribed and come over from the Shifting Metal. Thank you especially to the guys that have stuck with me over the last few months, and since the beginning of the channel, really. It is really appreciated. I don't see you as subscribers. I know each one of you are individual people, and to think that 500 people want to listen to me waffling is, it's quite humbling. So thank you to all of you, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one. So thanks for watching.